In the land of Kitakami, there dwells a beast of unfathomable strength. Though there are rumors of it being an Ursaluna, its true form is shrouded in mystery. It is known as the Bloodmoon Beast. As your paranormal Pokemon investigator, I'll be your guide into the lore of this mystery creature. So let's take a look at what Pokemon's Teal Mask DLC has to offer. First, I'll talk about the quest revolving around the beast and then have some lore discussion after that. First of all, we're going to have to meet up with Perrin. Trust me, it's all important. If it wasn't already clear from her design, she's meant to be Adaman's descendant, and the more we interact with her, the clearer it becomes. So we find Perrin taking photos around Mosui Town with her Hisui and Growlithe just hanging around, being a good boy. But her quest is really meant to be a post-main story kind of thing for the DLC, because she tells us to finish whatever we're up to and then come back once we've got 150 Pokemon in the Kitakami Pokedex. Not too difficult, so one adventure later, Perrin introduces herself as a traveling photographer who wants to enlist our help in photographing a very special Pokemon. But if proving we're a pro at catching Pokemon wasn't enough, she wants us to prove ourselves even further in battle. I honestly wasn't expecting to have a battle with her. I thought she would be more of a character leading us in this quest, but it's a neat little battle even though she only has 2 Pokemon. Seeing Noctowl being used by an important character was a treat, except for the fact that it just kept trying to hypnotize my Pokemon. And of course her ace Pokemon is Leafeon, just like her ancestor. So now Perrin gives us some exposition about this mysterious Pokemon, referring to it as the Bloodmoon Beast. Kind of interesting, we're told that it's definitely an Ursaluna right off the bat. But it gives Perrin a chance to reminisce, letting us know that they aren't really around anymore and used to be more common in Hisui, which happens to be her home country, or at least modern day Sinnoh. We also get a little idea of where Kitakami is in relation to Sinnoh at least, because it would have to be close enough for an Ursaluna to travel there by water. And so we can join Perrin on her quest to photograph the Bloodmoon Beast in the Timeless Woods. I love this little moment where she's taking pictures of a Poliwhirl and is too distracted to notice us. I decided to let her do her thing until Growlithe let her know I was there. We get one more little battle as part of this event when an Ariados shows up and attacks. Again, not a difficult battle, but I like that we're not completely on rails toward a free Pokemon. And seeing Johto Pokemon as part of characters' teams or appearing in the wild is always cool. Anyway, it's time to set up camp, and oh my gosh, that tent is amazing. So we need to take our own photos of Pokemon that appear on foggy nights the beast is said to be seen in. We can then feed that information into a Pokemon searcher to narrow things down. In other words, we'll be doing survey work. And the little minigame is actually kind of nice. We have to work smarter and not harder to make sure we don't scare off any Pokemon, which is a little easier said than done in a game not completely built around this kind of stealth. Personally, I like how the pace and setting were kind of slowed down and these Pokemon can just roam around without me having to worry about bumping into them for battle. It almost made me feel like I was playing Legends Arceus again, but I was really missing that rolling feature. And I am liking how taking pictures of Pokemon has kind of become a series standard at this point. 10 different species later, and Perrin reveals that she's been in a creative slump lately, and dang, a relatable character. I think this was a nice idea to add this layer onto her, not only giving her some motivation beyond the expected connection to Hisui. And now the searcher has compiled the data and can lead us right through the fog to the best Pokemon ever. The battle with this thing is great. It seems calm at first, but Perrin is in a bit of a rush and kind of startled, so she accidentally leaves the auto flash on when taking a picture and the beast comes in swinging. We get a Titan style battle against Ursaluna, the Bloodmoon Beast. And hearing the Legends Arceus battle music again just made me so happy. While I had the upper hand for a decent part of the battle, Ursaluna threw out its new signature move, Blood Moon, and it is not messing around. Finally, I get him weak enough to throw a Moon Ball and the beast is mine. Overall, a fun little quest getting to meet a new character who I really enjoy that ends with a new exclusive Pokemon form and a Hisui and Growlithe also as a gift. Even if the photos all came out blurry, it's good to know that Perrin has rekindled her love of photography and sets out on new adventures. She moves on from Kitakami with the promise that we'll probably meet again someday. The whole adventure was basically Legends Arceus at home. Alright, now comes the moment. Let's talk about Bloodmoon Ursaluna. So if any of you have been around for a while, you might remember that Ursaluna was my favorite new Pokemon introduced in Hisui. Having a Johto Pokemon I was always kind of a fan of, getting another evolution that makes it a really big bear was exactly the kind of thing I would have wished for. But while the noble Ursaluna we meet is pretty calm, the Bloodmoon Beast is something else. Sure, I know that it wasn't really doing anything when it first walked out of the fog, but this thing's appearance is absolutely monstrous. It's perfect. It looks intimidating and like it's been through a lot. Being one of the only Ursaluna confirmed to still be living in modern day, it makes sense that it now has basically grown a beard and lost an eye. Well, the eye is actually still there, it's just black now, I guess. Apparently this eye allows it to see in the dark, and that is so cool. I find it interesting that we're getting an alternate form of Ursaluna at all. But not just that, it's a completely unique Pokemon. It's not a transformation that any of them can just go through. In canon, there is only one Bloodmoon beast, a Pokemon confirmed to have lived for over 100 years. We don't get an exact timeline of how far in the past Legends Arceus is, but using comparisons to the real world, it's generally accepted to be somewhere around 200 years in the past, give or take. There aren't really many other details on exactly how it managed to survive, but we have seen other Pokemon that have been around for hundreds, even thousands of years, so it's not completely unbelievable. I think the story of Ursaluna makes a little more sense when you look at its inspiration. With the information we know about it, I would be confident in saying that Bloodmoon Ursaluna is based on a yokai known as the Onikuma. A bear which has lived for a long time and transformed into a yokai is called an Onikuma. Onikuma continue growing and reach sizes much larger than the largest natural bears. They walk on 2 legs and are large enough to carry off cows and horses. There's a bit more, but those descriptions of its physical attributes are what I want to focus on first, because that all checks out. Bloodmoon Ursaluna has lived for a very long time, stands on 2 legs unlike the original form, and is significantly bigger. And sure, I know Ursaring stood on 2 legs also, but Ursaluna has always been seen as quadrupedal most of the time due to the way its body is built. When it comes to behavior, Onikuma are said to be similar to ordinary bears, living far away from humans, rarely venturing out of their habitats, only occasionally emerging from forest into villages to look for food. We don't really see that with Ursaluna, as the only village in Kitakami is pretty far from the Timeless Woods, but obviously somebody has to have seen it at some point in time for there to be rumors. Really though, I think the townspeople are more concerned with Ogerpon. Obviously, coming from regular Ursaluna, I could see the Bloodmoon form still having a relatively docile nature, just wanting to live and survive. So there wouldn't be any stories of it lurking around the village and eating livestock. Maybe, if anything, it got into the apple orchards a handful of times. But it's nowhere near the menace that an Onikuma could be. A very Pokemonified take on mythology. In the end, I would definitely say that this is one of my favorite new Pokemon, though I guess because it is technically still an Ursaluna, it would count as a Generation 8 Pokemon, but this new form makes me love it even more. I get to have 2 flavors of my big favorite bear. I've always really liked Beast of the Night, hidden away from humans with a dangerous and scary appearance, so you just know I'm gonna be vibing with this dude. I don't really play competitively, but he looks to be living up to his title of Beast, basically being a special attacking Ursaluna with a unique ability, Mind's Eye, which is basically scrappy, plus its accuracy can't be lowered, plus it ignores evasiveness modifiers plus ratio. And that signature move goes pretty crazy. I'm just happy to have my favorite Pokemon from Hisui back and better than ever. I really did enjoy the quest to obtain it, as well as the lore around it, even though it doesn't really seem all that deep. We did already get the Ursaluna lore in Legends Arceus, so just kind of having this as an extra additional thing in this current game is really cool to see. Even though the inspiration does kind of just seem surface level with it being only the appearance, throughout history there's always kind of been this interesting, nearly mystical relationship that humans have with bears, when in reality they're just wild animals that want to live just like any other, even if they are really big and powerful. So let me know what you think about this whole quest and the brand new Pokemon form. Anyway, I've got to get back into the village before night falls. Also, if you're a true Ursaluna fan, you can go to the description and get the Red Moon Bear shirt at my Redbubble store. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, especially the Great Gators, Cheeseburger Lasers, Justin R, Cosmo Zero, Lil Swiss, Meme Supreme, Mochizuki Yoru, Nomad Nobi, Phantom, Quago, Taishirai, Volity, and Pastel Blood. If you would like to support, get your name shouted out here, as well as access to emotes for comments, live streams, and sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter as well for more memes. Anyway, this has been GatorX. I'll catch you all later.
Travel to a mythic space and time in the Pokemon trading card game, Sword and Shield, Astral Radiance. Each booster pack of 10 cards sold separately. Cards vary by pack.